Okay, we're going to be multiplying and dividing positive and negative fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, these are pretty messy, but just be looking at the steps above as I go through this. I'll try to make this a little bit shorter than it needs to be. Okay, so when you're multiplying two fractions or mixed numbers, you first want to make sure they're both fractions. Okay, so -2 1/4 and -8, I'm going to make those into fractions. Okay, I'm going to take 4 times 2 and add 1, and I get 9. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9/4. Okay, it's going to be a -9/4. Okay, -8, make that into a fraction. Okay, just put a 1 underneath the -8, and you have -8 over 1. Okay, so we used backwards C for the first mixed number, or multiply, add, drag, whatever your teacher taught you a year or so ago. And we put a 1 underneath the -8. Okay, once we have a multiply problem, you can multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. You do need to make sure you know a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to use my shortcut. Okay, I have an 8 and a 4. I'm going to reduce 8 and 4. And I'm just thinking of that as 8 and not a -8. I'm just kind of ignoring that negative sign for a minute. If I take 8 divided by 4, I get 2. And if I take 4 divided by 4, I get 1. Okay, so now I have a -9 over 1 times a -2 over 1. Okay, now I can multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. Okay, when I multiply the tops, I have a -9 times a -2. Okay, a negative times a negative is a positive, so it's going to be a positive 18. When I multiply the bottoms, I have 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, my final answer is 18 over 1, but 18 over 1 can be simplified to 18 because 18 divided by 1 is 18. Okay, the next problem is a divide. Okay, you still want to make sure they're both fractions before you do anything else with these. Notice we haven't done anything with common denominators. You don't need a common denominator when you multiply and divide. Okay, but I do need to make these both into fractions first. Okay, 2 times 4 plus 1 again is 9/4. Keep it negative. Okay, 1 times 3, add 2 is 5. Okay, so that's going to be 5/3. I'm just trying to save a little time, but what I did is I rewrote both numbers as fractions. Okay, now I'm going to KFC. I'm going to keep change flipped because I need to turn this into a multiplication problem. Okay, I'm going to keep the -9/4. I'm going to change divide to multiply. I'm going to flip over 5/3 to be 3/5. Okay, now it's time to just do this multiplication problem. Okay, I cannot reduce 3 and 4. And I can't reduce 9 and 5. Okay, but I can just go ahead and now multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. Okay, when I multiply the top numbers, I have a -9 times a +3. Okay, the signs are different. Okay, so that's -27. 4 times 5 on the bottom is 20. -27 over 20. Guys, to be honest, in the 7th and 8th grade, it's actually a perfect answer because we don't mind improper fractions in the 7th and 8th grade. But let's go ahead and turn it into a mixed number just in case on Khan Academy they want you to turn that into a mixed number. Okay, we would want to divide 20 into 27. Okay, 20 goes into 27 once. 1 times 20 is 20. Subtract, and we have a remainder of 7/20. So our final answer would be negative. See, this improper fraction's negative, right? So my mixed number has to also be negative. It's going to be -1 7/20. Okay? Try number 9 on your own. Okay, pause the video, try number 9, and then unpause the video and see if you got it. Okay, this third problem, it's -8.5 divided by -2 5/6. Change both of these to fractions first. Okay, 8 times 2 plus 1 is 17 halves. Okay, but it's a negative. Okay, -2 5/6. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17, so that's -17 sixths. Okay, -17 halves divided by -17 sixths. Okay, now we can copy, change, flip, or keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. Okay, keep -17 halves, change, divide to multiply, flip over -17 sixths to be -6 seventeenths. Okay, we have -17 over 2 times -6 over 7. So now it's a multiply problem. Boy, those are big numbers when I multiplied them together. So I'm going to try to do some cross-reducing because I can on this problem. Okay, now when I cross-reduce, I'm going to kind of ignore my negative symbols, kind of leave them alone. Okay, I'm not going to think of this as a -17 for the moment. I'm just going to think of it as a 17. So 17 and 17 can both divide by 17. 17 divided by 17 is 1. 17 divided by 17 is 1. Okay, 2 and 6 both divide by 2. And again, I'm kind of just ignoring that little negative symbol for a moment. So 2 and 6. 2 and 6 both divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now look what I have. I have -1 over 1 times -3 over 1. Okay, now I can multiply the tops. This is a -1 times a -3. Okay, the signs are the same, so it's +3. Okay, on the bottom, I have 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, so my answer is 3 over 1, but 3 divided by 1 reduces to 3. Okay, guys, these are, I won't say hard, but they're complicated because there's lots and lots and lots of things you're doing. Because you're not only doing fractions, but you're doing fractions and mixed numbers, and you're doing fractions and mixed numbers with different denominators, and you're working with negative signs at the same time. So just lots of things to just kind of be careful with. Take your time on the Khan Academy. Please let me know if there's anything I can help you with. You may want to jot down these steps if this is the way you're working out the problems. Khan Academy has hints too that could help you as well. Okay, just keep me posted on what I can do to help you.